Good day, my friends, and welcome to episode 25 of my Krastorio playthrough. Today's topics are expanding our green circuit and red circuit production, and eventually getting towards science, but I don't know if we're going to hit that mark today as well. Also, I will be producing more automation cores because I feel like this array here, as wonderful as it might be, is not doing enough work for me because 2 automation cores per second don't sound like enough. Okay, so we're gonna see how far we'll get. I've prepared this area down here to be our main course of interaction with the red circuits, and yeah, this is going to be what we're doing. If we're getting lucky, we're going to plan out this area here, but I'm not sure how far I'll get. Anyways, before we get started, I'd really appreciate some thumbs up on this video or even a subscription to my channel if you want to support me and my work a little bit more directly. I would deeply appreciate that, but the most important thing is you enjoying this video. So let's keep going. This little array here is nice and everything, but it also only produces an amount of 4 green circuits per second. I mean, that's at least almost a third of a complete belt, but it is not really much to look at. So some serious problem I'm having here is that my input lanes are a little bit unfortunate, but we can work around that. That's no problem. So we're going to drop down a few more of those fellas. So at this point I could do several adjustments, but I think the most easy adjustment will be to just oh, we're having full inventory. Yeah, how did that come together? I don't even know. Why do I have so much stuff? Yeah, we're going to change that in a second. Until then, I'm going to drop down a little warehouse here, and I'm going to store a little something. We're going to store that yucky stuff here. And apart from that, I'm not going to do more. So yeah, I know this is a little bit of overkill, but I do like to have those little waste bins in the everywheres. So having 6 of those guys, so I could do a little bit more. So we're going to do that. My main goal of interaction here is right now to expand my regular green circuit production, at least in a way that I can still use the green circuits in our other areas. So that's why I am leading those things a little bit differently here. So this was the spot where I cut off the wood to be half a belt. So we're going to do the same thing as before, just somewhere else. So I need to do the mixing somewhere else because I don't have room here anymore. So I guess I'm gonna drop the sand, the pipes, the stuff. Just some things that are not necessary right now. Okay. So ultimately, I want to lead this into the facility from below there now. So there we go. Minor adjustments on the old facility. So as you notice here, I'm dismantling this stuff on a quite big scale because I don't want to readjust here too much later on. So there we go. We're now doing a little lead around here and a little lead around there. Oops. There we go. Okay, let's splitter this off. Oh, that was the wrong side. It's way more effective to do it on this side. Go. Now then, we're doing it here on the same side, and there we go. Oops, that was the wrong direction. There we go. So these guys now have their input here. Does this stay the same, mixed the same way if I put that on a splitter? Yes, it does. Okay. So we've now fixed our old array. Oops. There we go. Oh, those cliffs. Just hate that stuff. Alright. Now just some minor expansions on the usual things. So there we go. Input for the materials, output for the green cards. There we go. Now we have to copy those fellas. Oh. There we go. These guys are the output inserters. And while I'm not sure if this will be enough in the long run for my base, I am well aware of the fact that I can expand this array later on when I can remove the cliffs. I mean, I just need to extract sulfur at this point, and then I am able to produce cliff explosives. Yeah, I'm already there. I haven't even noticed. Alright, we're going to be able to do that today. Wonderful. But we're still a little bit away from that. But I just realized that I can't get rid of one of my biggest problems today. Wonderful. So we're going to put up the inserters here for further production. Okay. Okay. Now we have a little bit more firepower with the green circuits. It's still not enough for my taste, way too little, but it is a beginning. If we put it on here. So we're having an input of 16 items, 16 copper cables per second, but that doesn't matter. We're having an input of 8 copper plates, but that's also spread over 2 lanes. Yeah, we're not even close to stressing out those lanes at all. Okay. Just keep an eye on it from time to time. But this is still a very, very small installation for production of green circuits. I think at this point of the game I should be having a bigger array already, but oh well. There's always something which which is not being done quickly enough. So here I have the same thing. We're going to drop down 1, 2, and 3, and I'll have not the option of doing this more often here. Like, I have to be okay with one more production array here, because the room is not sufficient for more. I mean, I could start below the behind the cliffs there, but honestly, before I do that, I'll start producing all the cliff explosives and expanding the array a little bit more. For now, I just want to have a few more additions here to make this whole thing a little bit more lucrative here, you know? There we go. Because my plan here was to stick with these designs as long as possible, which means that I will be only upgrading this facility if the need arises. Like if there's going to be a visible shortage of automation cores. Until that happens, I'm gonna try how far I'll get with this little array here, because I don't have a real clue about how important a bigger amount of automation cores is going to be in the Krastorio mod. So we got that, wonderful. For the red circuits, we're pretty much having everything we need. The real interesting part about the red circuits here is that we have to give every single factory of red circuits a single factory of green circuits to counterweigh the production. So I'm going to have a look on this array here, and the most basic building block seems to be this here. This is neutral by all means, and we're going to be able to maintain some sort of red circuit production if we do a cluster which initially produces green circuits, and I'm going to interlay another one. It's looking funny, but it doesn't matter. It's still in the same belt, so it's okay. So I'm going to use these belts here a little bit more, and that's also why I went for such an thorough rebuild of the whole thing, because I already knew that I would be needing those lanes later on. But for the copper, I feel like I really want to tap into another lane, because I want to have as much copper available as possible for the new array. I don't want the green circuit production line here being at risk with interfering with the resource input of the main green circuit array, if that makes any sense. Because I don't want to end up with not enough copper plates on my green circuit production only because I used it all for the red circuit production. So I'm going to lead those guys around here. And for now, I don't plan on doing an insanely huge production of red circuits, because I want to have the cliff explosives first. And for now, I just want to have a little production facility before I think about how to do the green circuit production from here on. So my basic idea was to build the red circuits only from here on, and leave this space here open for green circuit expansion. So basically this area down here can be all red circuits to me. One day the iron deposit here will be gone. Okay, there's a raw immersite spot we have to... I mean, this won't be using that much space, I guess. So yeah, basic ideas. Going to produce another intertwined lane here as well. So we're going to use basically the same cheap old tricks as before. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. I don't think that works out. So is this too much and too early? No, it works. Ha! I just wanted to try. I wasn't sure. Okay. So this way we're producing our input lane for the greens. And in this situation here, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. So I had this array here with a double-sided input, but I'm going to do a little bit of a different layout here. So I'm going to put out like 4 of those guys. starting here. Is that a little bit too early? Will I get damage if I run past here? Yeah, okay, wonderful. So we're going to produce the oh, I need copper cables first, of course. So let's check out how many copper cables will we need for this. So, and how many copper cables will we need for that? Okay. Wait a sec. That's why did oh, it's adding up the copper cable needs of the whole facility. Wonderful. So step one seems to be for me to put up a production array of copper cables for this whole facility. And this means I'm going to go for a pre-production cluster right here. So I think it'll make much more sense in a second. So with a pre-production cluster, I mean something like this. Right now I know that I need only 3 assemblers for copper cables. Wonderful. So we're going to do this like that. Oh, it's a little bit too high. We're going to do this here. So there's going to be a splitter for everyone here, as because we're using big old loaders. And we're going to do this, and this way they're getting their input here. And we're outputting here too. But I'm not sure if I'm going to use loaders for the output as well. We're going to see how necessary this will be. There we go. So we would need 4 inserters for the output. No thanks. So we're going to go for loaders for the output as well, because why not? So here we have a way simpler way of dealing with it. Let's power this thing up. I'm going to use the long-range thingies here for a change. I mean, I have built them for a reason. There we go. So, yeah, it works. So this array can be safely expanded in this direction as much as I need it. So I'll possibly let them run like this here. Possibly more like it. And this is going to be also all the produce we need to get the green circuits going. With the green circuits, I'll do a similar pre-production line, and we're going to need 4 of those guys. So I'm going to drop them down like... I'll need a double lane. That's the double lane. That's the inserter slot. There we go. So 4 of them, right? So with these guys, it's going to be not that easy. I'll need oh, okay. So I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna make it. I promise. So there we go. Alrighty. So that's it. Going to output those guys. I don't know if I'm going to output on loaders. We're going to see. So let's get there. And this is going to be a similar pre-production cluster. So I could also use this form of array for green circuit production, just like here. There are always many different ways to solve the same problem. And that's what I love about Factorio so much, to be quite honest. And that's also a reason why I don't like to use blueprints that much, because it eliminates the experimentalism. That's why I don't use them so. Okay, so the green circuits we don't need loaders for. It is a complete waste of resources to do that. So there we are. as we see, this is a pretty nice area to get the pre-production rolling. I want to have... Okay. Just can't stop checking the exclamation marks there. So I'm going to drop down a bigger power node here. Let's do it like that. So this is the pre-produce for the red circuits. So the red circuits ultimately need the electronic components, electronic circuits, and copper cables. So since I've already established a production which is sufficient as well for the copper, for the greens, as well for the reds, we're going to splitter this off. I can tell for sure that this will be good for later stages of this production cycle, but for now I'll try it. So we're going to have the copper cables. I'll just drop down one assembler and analyze the situation. So we're needing at the least part of the whole thing. We're needing least electronic components, and we need electronic circuits and copper cables in relatively big amounts. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to establish a pretty simple trick here. I'm going to extend this, and I'm going to splitter off a little something. We're going to meld into the output here. Go. So this way I'll have everything I need for the red circuits available. Okay, so this is going to be a logistics slot, which is well, sitting at a very unfortunate spot, but that doesn't matter. And from here on, below this will be the assembly array of the red circuits. So I would put them a little bit closer to each other if I wouldn't need to transport the stuff here. Ah, well, I could optimize it. It's just excuses, I know. But it doesn't matter. We're going to work with that. Because it is expandable and... it is expandable and it is usable. So there we go. It's going to be our first fresh and hot grain circuits here. Okay, we're going to output them into this direction. And there we go, my friends. We are having our first batch of red circuits available in no time. Outputting those guys is going to be yellow inserters work. And there we go. So, all we're needing now is power. Let's provide that with a little... Wow, look at that distance between them. Amazing. So that's what they're used for. Ah, okay. I can't use it if I do it like that. I'm still experimenting around with those guys because they weren't available in this form before in the game. So there we are. That's a start. Red circuits, friends. Red circuits. Such a treasure. Okay. Well, I'm going to fill the belt here. Right there. Okay, now I'm having advanced circuits. All that's left to do now is to lead them up there as well. We're going to do that. Why not? And for now, I'm going to be happy with just one line of advanced circuits. If the need arises to produce more than one line, we're going to get there. Come on. Seriously? Wait, what? Ah, it's flowing in the other direction than I thought. Okay. So we're having to lead this stuff through very, very complicated routes, but not much longer, my friends. Not much longer. I've just delayed the production of explosives for a few simple reasons. One of them being the necessity of sulfur for what's it called? For the tech cards I want to build. So I've just decided to give those circuits a little bit more breathing room than I expected. So I put up the belts here with the respective distances to each other's, so that this array stays expandable, because there's nothing worse than having not enough room to expand your array in the end. So this way I'm having a little bit more space available, and I also lead the red circuits directly into my laboratory area. We're done. Okay, so sulfur gets produced in chemical plants. I just figured the last time that I'm using all the output of the pump jacks to generate plastic, but I thought about it. I don't need that much plastic. Like, if I check out the production here, I produce right now 12 units of plastic per second, but my electronic component production here only needs 7.5 units of plastic. So if I look at that, that's 4 chemical plants we need. So I can't just let those 4 chemical plants keep producing the plastic, and apart from that, I'm going to use the other 2 guys to produce sulfur. So that's the main plan here, because let's check out here, put it into this calculator as well, so we see now there are 4 chemical plants necessary to produce this amount of plastic. So what we're going to do now is heading over to the Helmod here, and I'm trying to compute it now a little bit differently, because I only have these 2 guys, so I'm going to compute it by factory. I want to know how much materials, how many materials are needed to maintain this kind of production. So I'm seeing that I'll need 7 refineries to get this going, and I need 9 refineries for this, so I'll need a total of 16 refineries. Okay, we're only having 14. That's bad. So if I compute it down to 1 factory, let's check it out. Here we go. So we have 4 refineries necessary. Right now I'm sitting on a little bit more than that. So I'm going to turn 1 of these into the sulfur production. Okay, there we go. So we're going to need petroleum gas and water to do that. As we see here, the chemical tech card needs sulfuric acid, and sulfuric acid is being produced in a chemical plant. So we're having the next question here, of course. What about the sulfuric acid? So we're going to put this here as well. Compute this by 1 factory. There we go, boom. And now we're having some informations on how much we're going to need. So to satisfy the production of 1 of these thingers, we would need 3 chemical plants producing sulfur. That's bad. That's bad. So overall, the bottom line is I need more oil, because right now I only have that many pump jacks available to do the work. Or I would try to start storing the oil with storage tanks. but I'm not sure if that's really a smart choice. So I've looked it up already the last episode where we're having oil available. There's one. Look at that. There's one. So we're having... So let's check this out. I mean, we're going to put up the complete production chain here. So there we go. We would need the input of 4 pump jacks to just get one sulfuric acid facility going. But let's check out how much sulfuric acid we actually need for the tech cards here. So there we go. Let's say we want to output 1 of them per second. Let's say already a big enough ordeal. So we can see here we can produce 5 tech cards per second with 1 facility. So as a matter of fact, I should be quite okay. So as we can see, we don't need a full production facility here. Wonderful. So we're going to have a nice little diagram here. So if I only want to produce 1 tech card per second, I'm having everything I need here, so that's okay. So long story short, we can do what we want to with just 1 chemical plant, because it's going to be enough for a small array of tech card production. But if I want to produce a bigger amount of tech cards, as you've already noticed, we won't be hitting the spot with that. Like, nah. So I'm going for this now as a intermediate solution because I feel like it's quite okay to do this. And we're going to produce a little bit of sulfur. And with the sulfuric acid, it's going to be a little bit tough. So I just realized that the petroleum gas is being produced over here. I'll need the sulfur though. Well, no, I need the sulfuric acid somewhere completely different. So my plan here was to produce the sulfuric acid here on site and then pipe it over to this other place. And I've left all my pipe to rounds in the inventory back there. We have to do a little bit of walking there. But this will pay off in the long run. Because with the sulfur production, I'm also able to produce cliff explosives. And that moment we're able to do that, I'm going to clean up a lot of stuff here. So bear with me a little bit longer. Did I just run past the spot? No. Okay. So chemical tech cards are the first tech cards which are completely impossible to be crafted by hand, because you don't have sulfuric acid in your pocket, you know. You never have. So, but apart from that, I'm having a nice little production here, which I can increase as necessary. It is a pretty simple production array overall. Appreciate that. But the construction of the electronic components was tedious as hell, to say, to put it into friendly words. So now I'm picking up the stuff I have here again. The biomass, I think I'll leave it here. The biomass is another nasty thing. I'll need to grab all the stuff from the other places on the map and ultimately put up a container where I drop it in and where it gets distributed to my military tech card production facilities. This is something which I can't even start to think about how to automate it, so it's going to be quite interesting. I just want to pick up those little miners here. Oops, they're out of business, you know. They are out of business. Okay. Few not needed belts here. There's another one being out of job. Okay, now we can go for that. So, going to continue this episode until I have my first cliff explosives crafted. It's pretty much my goal for the moment. And I just noticed that for empty barrels I need steel plates, so let's grab up some steel for fun. Circuit veteran. Like, seriously? Didn't even know you can achieve those things in a modded game. Oh, well, whatever. Okay then. Let's head over. So these warehouses are full. Completely full. Very nice. So I'm going to turn off all the unnecessary machines. That means these guys are not producing anymore. I want to have one machine for sulfur, and that's why I'm going to disassemble it here. Because I don't want to have the sulfur production standing here where it is. I'll just tap into the water connection here. Let's go for that. Let's put it down here. Let's give it a nice connection spot. There we go. So since I'm not really thinking about any long-term things here, I'm going to connect it quite wild here. There we go. This is by no means an organized build. I just want to have one unit of sulfur, and I think in the long run I'll just need to claim more oil or think about storage solutions, but right now I'm not sure how good a storage solution would work for me, because it's hard to tell for me how well I can buffer, you know. But whatever, we're having sulfur, friends. It's a nice start for us. So with the sulfur... Oh, I need explosives. Huh, never mind. So explosives are also being made in here. And one coal, one sulfur, and water. Well, we're not that far away, aren't we? So, another chemical plant, please. I need to do this now. This is a goal I've set for myself, and I'm quite unhappy if I don't get my goals done. So, splitterinos. Oh, I'm going to use a yellow one. It's an improvised production facility, and with those I don't have too much perfectionism in mind, you know. This just has to work somehow. That's all. Just want to be able to produce my explosives. There we go. And here we are. Explosives! So my friends, I'm going to prepare a little this and that to produce military technology for the next chemical and military technology for the next episode, but this is going to be something which we're preparing quite nicely. Until then, I'll just say thanks for watching, and we're going to produce our first cliff explosive, and then this is going to be the outro. Thanks so much again for watching this whole series. I think Krastorio is offering a wonderful game experience in general, and I'm enjoying my time. very, very much. In the meantime, enjoy the first cliff explosive in the game, and until then, my friends, take good care of yourself, and come back for the next episode when we will do the real big science. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.